My father always said, if you can't say something nice about someone, then just say nothing. That's why I was rather surprised when at Washington National Cathedral this Sunday, the guest preacher compared the neo-Nazi of today to the homeowners associations of the 50s and 60s. Chicago Mayor Daley famously said, "We don't need outside agitators coming in here." Luckily, National Cathedral has the social capital to survive the outside agitation of a guest preacher. And if that means I'm a member of the homeowners association, then that's something I'm truly grateful for. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. At Coffee Hour, we talk mostly about non-church stuff, and that's okay. And sometimes that's a blessing. This Sunday, we talked about the Eisenhower inauguration, having a juried illness, getting an abortion and pancakes in Atlanta, and changing your outlook by looking through a kaleidoscope. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from Proverbs. When there was no depth, I was brought forth. Lady Wisdom, and from Romans, suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint us. At National Cathedral, Randy invited us to a new series at the cathedral on the topic of replacing some of the windows at the cathedral that seem problematic in our time with those that will suit our sensibilities now better. Replacement windows is something we hear advertised on late night cable television. And in the media, we hear about replacement theory. But in many American churches, they've already experienced replacement theory. They've emptied out those troublesome congregations of the past. And what have they been replaced with? In many cases, they've been replaced by nothing and no one. Winnie Vargas, the guest preacher at National Cathedral, started off pretty good with a rather flattering comment about the elegant congregation gathered there, but then went on to compare the homeowners associations of the 50s and 60s to the Nazi of today. I'm not sure we know that we have Nazi amongst us, but according to Ms. Vargas, we do, and that they are heavily armed and on our streets. I don't consider myself Pollyannish, and anyone in this weird time in history would be insane to consider themselves so, but I'm also not overtly alarmist. Ms. Vargas' comments were alarming, troubling, and disappointing. Her comments had more to do with the condemning and vilifying nature prevalent today with those we disagree with. We simply can't live with them anymore. We must instead replace them. I'm not a fan of applause during a worship service because it's entirely counter to the spiritual nature of the service, but during the pandemic, spontaneous applause was more usual than normal. Near the end of today's service, I began to get a little nervous that there might be applause at the end of this train wreck of a sermon. Luckily, at the end, there was instead stony silence. Like my father said, if you can't say something nice, then just say nothing. At St. James Cathedral, Anna preached about the Trinity Sunday theme. She said the Trinity is like a dance between God, the Holy Spirit, and us. Anna said we come to church on Sunday to be inspired and fed spiritually, and then to take that new perspective out into the world to do the good work. Elam Davies, the pastor at the Fourth Presbyterian Church of Chicago from 1961 until 1984, often preached a similar sentiment that we are inspired in church on Sunday so we can go out into the world. And when we go out into the world, what do we find? We find that God is already there. He's out in the world ahead of us, doing the work for us. I don't believe my grandparents were members of the homeowners association, but I do know that Jews were not allowed to live on Calvin Park Boulevard. So a prominent Jewish family built their home at the end of the boulevard and inadvertently became a focal point of the avenue. My mother always pointed out this lovely home to us whenever we visited my grandparents. I guess the premise of any association or institution can fall victim to the practice of trying to preserve themselves. Is our goal to preserve ourselves and to save ourselves? Do we need to believe in God to be saved? If you belong to a religious organization, then yes, you do. But from God's perspective, it's much more important that He believe in us than the other way around. When Jesus comes back, is He interested in seeing churches filled to capacity? Or is He more interested in seeing them emptied out into the world, doing the work in the world, out in the world where He is ahead of us? If you would like to join me at Sunday Coffee Hour, I will include my email in the description of this video. Sunday Coffee Hour is every Sunday at 12 noon, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.